Gardaí have been working feverishly to have an agreement with the United Arab Emirates in place to extradite the Kinahans from Dubai to stand trial. Attempts to extradite key members of the Kinahan Cartel to Ireland would likely be successful with cross-border pressure from the EU and US. Welcome back to Crime Chronicles. Today we look at efforts to extradite the Kinahans and their associates from Dubai, how one group is trying to stop this process, and the nations that may be the Kinahans' next stop if extradition fails. Irish authorities are increasingly confident that the Director of Public Prosecutions will recommend charges be issued against Christy Kinahan Sr. and his sons Daniel and Christopher Jr. for crimes committed in the Republic of Ireland. It is understood that DPP lawyers, including a senior counsel, are going through the extensive Garda file against the leadership of the drugs cartel with a fine-tooth comb. They want to make sure that whatever charges are brought against the trio will stick. But they also want to show the UAE that the alleged offences are serious and that justice must be served. Gardaí have asked for Daniel Kinahan to be charged with offences that will see him locked up for life if he is convicted. A senior Garda source said, "The DPP has had the Kinahan file for months now. A decision will be made shortly. The first step in the process is to issue the charges against them and then go to Dubai with the warrants and formally seek their extradition. The Irish Republic could not do that unless they have an agreement beforehand with the authorities in Dubai. UAE is fully aware of the crimes committed by the Kinahans and their associates, and Gardaí are hopeful that they will have any extradition issues sorted out in weeks rather than months or years. The DPP is rightfully taking their time on this case because they want to make sure that everything is right, but the first step in the whole process is to issue the charges against them. It is believed whatever charges are brought will relate to the Kinahans' drug-dealing activities in Ireland, plus the Kinahan-Hutch feud, which left 18 people dead. Gardaí say all the men are still holding out in Dubai and have been unable to escape so far. They are being watched around the clock by a combined group of international law enforcement agencies, including the Americans, who have put up a $5 million reward for each of the Kinahans for any information that would lead to their arrest. A Garda source has said their world is now very small. There are only a handful of places that they can move to. But as soon as they try to leave Dubai, we will be all over them. Just look at what happened to their associate and right-hand man, Liam Byrne. He decided to leave Dubai and go to Mallorca last June, but he was arrested there within days and then eventually extradited back to Britain, where he is now charged with firearm offences. Mobster Liam Byrne is facing up to life in prison after being charged with 13 separate offences. He faces a total of 12 firearms-related charges and a further charge of perverting the course of justice, something which carries a maximum penalty of life imprisonment in the UK. In total, Byrne is facing 3 charges of conspiring to possess a firearm without a certificate, 3 charges of conspiring to possess ammunition, 2 charges of conspiracy to possess a prohibited automatic weapon, 3 charges of conspiracy to sell or transfer prohibited weapons, conspiracy to possess a prohibited weapon, and conspiracy to pervert the course of justice. Byrne faces up to 5 years in prison for each of the firearms possession charges alone, and up to 10 years for conspiring to possess an automatic weapon, while the charges of conspiring to sell or transfer weapons also carry a maximum penalty of life imprisonment. Gardaí sources have said, "We are slowly but surely moving in on them, and they know it. They know if they move, we will know where they are going. The days of the Kinahans being above the law are coming to an end. There is a long list of countries who want to get their hands on them." Hopes to extradite the Kinahan thugs from Dubai within months have been heating up after a UK suspect at the top of the wanted list was kicked out of the country. Gardaí are increasingly confident the Kinahans will be sent home to stand trial after a trader was extradited from Dubai recently. Sanjay Shah was extradited to Denmark, where he is wanted for tax fraud charges after being involved in a scheme to defraud Danish taxpayers of $1.3 billion. He has denied the charges and insisted that the trades in question were legal. The arrest of the UK national was approved by the Ministry of Justice in the UAE, after the Gulf state signed a bilateral agreement between the two countries to allow the extradition of criminals 18 months ago. Republic of Ireland Justice Minister Helen McEntee has already had talks with the UAE to sign a similar agreement after meetings last September between the Garda Commissioner Drew Harris and the Dubai police over the activities of the Kinahan Cartel. Both senior government and Garda sources now say they hope the new extradition deal with the UAE will be in place within months. This will then allow them to move quickly to bring Christy Kinahan Sr., sons Christy Jr., Daniel Kinahan, and associate Sean McGovern home to face justice. They say the arrest and deportation of Sanjay Shah shows that the UAE is no longer prepared to harbour those facing criminal charges in other countries. The Irish Republic has also held talks with the UAE over the extradition of Kinahan Cartel gangster Sean McGovern. These discussions were over a reciprocal arrangement for the man classified as Daniel Kinahan's closest confidant. McGovern is wanted in Ireland over the murder of innocent granddad Noel Duckegg Kerwin, and also over a plot to kill James Mago Gately in April of 2017. The discussions between the Department of Justice and their counterparts in the UAE will focus on securing a one-off agreement over McGovern's extradition. The talks are separate to Minister McEntee's plans to start negotiations with the UAE over a formal extradition treaty between the two countries. In an unusual twist to the extradition negotiations, a human rights group has warned Ireland of risks in a Kinahan extradition deal with Dubai. Their statement has said that the UAE has a poor human rights record, and there have been numerous reports of torture, arbitrary detention, and unfair trials. Human rights campaigners have warned that Ireland should be careful in pursuing a bilateral extradition agreement with Dubai in a bid to get Kinahan cartel leaders back to face justice in Ireland. The campaign group, detained in Dubai, said that any extradition treaty would have to be carefully crafted to ensure that it does not expedite wrongful deportations over entirely illegitimate charges against Irish citizens or others living under Irish jurisdiction. But Fianna Fáil MEP for Dublin, Barry Andrews, said Ireland should follow Denmark, Belgium and the Netherlands in striking an agreement with the Gulf state to end Dubai's status as a safe haven for many of Ireland's most wanted criminals. Rada Sterling, CEO of Detained in Dubai, said that the country's legal system is opaque, and there are serious concerns about the lack of due process and the use of confessions obtained through torture. There have also been reports of political vendettas and the use of extradition as a tool to silence critics. The clock is ticking to strike an agreement that would allow the Kinahans, their associates, and other Irish criminals to be extradited to face charges in the Republic. US authorities have already expressed fears that if the Kinahans manage to leave Dubai, they may end up in nations that it would be impossible to extradite them from. It is believed that Christy Kinahan Sr. has been trying to do a deal with both the Russians and Iran to get them out of Dubai. Although the cartel has had many avenues of income closed off, businesses sanctioned, and their travel restricted, they probably still have immense financial resources at their disposal. It has been reported that cartel-laundered money has been funneled into cryptocurrency, which would allow access anywhere in the world. Regardless of the Kinahans' final destination, it'll probably be their last move. They may get lucky and evade authorities and make it to a nation they can't be removed from. or they will be extradited from Dubai and ultimately end up in jail. Thank you for joining us today on Crime Chronicles. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends.